Hey there, beautiful souls. Just intuitive angel healer here with your grounded guide to the spiritually awakened survivors of the toxic shadows. Welcome to my new YouTube channel and updated podcast channel, Spoken Like an Angel, Enlightenment for Survivors, where my prophetic words are meant to help stimulate so you can raise your vibe and elevate. Thank you so much for being here today, beautiful souls. It is July 27th, 2023. We are on Thursday, and it is almost the weekend. Yay! For those of you who have had the week, but I want to let you know that when we think about time, time is a human concept that we have integrated here on this planet. But ultimately, when it comes to your spirit guides, spirit team, angels, whoever you speak with, they don't believe in the concept of time. So when you go get information, when you go get a reading or something from someone and you want to know the time, know that your choices actually affect the time. So it could happen immediately. You can always get a good time range, but ultimately you can't predict time because you can't predict people's choices. If I could predict people's choices, I would have known what these karmics were doing, and I had a little inkling, but I was so dark in the shadows. Because see, when you're in the toxic shadows, it's a different kind of place than being just, say, in addiction or, you know, having a marriage problem. When you're an actual abuse victim of the toxic shadows, you pick up all the extra chaos, all the extra addictions that go with it. But when you're in there, you're in a dark place. You feel alone. And it's hard to navigate your mindset out of that dark place to get to a grounded place where you can actually understand that the fear is controlling you. And it's funny, as I'm doing this right now, the darkness is really trying to mess with me because I turned on a meditation in the back and it literally went to commercial. When I turned this on to start recording, a huge truck went outside like there's no tomorrow, and I'm like, I'm in the back, guys, like. So there's a confirmation for someone right there that yes, the darkness is playing with you. Are you going to play back though? And if you are going to play back, how are you going to play back? Are you going to let them continue to steal your power by getting angry, by jumping to anger because they irritate you? Because that's the number one thing that the darkness will do is use anything that irritates you. Be prepared for that tapping, tap, 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 tap that just drives you crazy. If you are in the middle of a spiritual warfare or you are upgrading, you are being tested by the spirits to see if that's going to still annoy you and if you're going to choose anger, which is part of the devil's realm, versus love, which is part of God's realm. It's crazy. You're like, it's about making a choice, because I guess some people believe there's no good or evil, but I definitely believe there's darkness, and the darkness comes from being away from the light, right? That's how shadows start. So the episode's name here, before I get too far into this, is episode number 45. Woo woo. I'm very proud that I've continue to put out this many episodes, and I have to give myself a little pat on the back when I do a good job. The episode is, are you living in a 3D world but dreaming of a 5D mindset? And this has really been on my heart lately. So Spirit has put it here because I speak with people, and I am a teacher. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I try to have as much patience, love, and compassion for people's issues. But then again, when it comes down to it, at some point, I'm not good with when I can start seeing that toxic behavior of taking, when you start wanting to put all of your problems and unload them onto someone else, even if they are your mentor. You have to take accountability, because your mentor, your teacher, whoever, your partner, This could even be a family member, friend. They can only help you, give you guidance, but you have to take those actions. We live in this world where we constantly seek outside of us to find the answer, and that's where the devil is jumping in, listening. He's like, "Oh, you're in scarcity mode? Well, here I am." Because do you notice when the devil shows up, you don't go looking for him. He finds you. I'm seeing that Nicolas Cage movie where his wife got raped in like Louisiana, and he wanted vengeance, and so the devil showed up at the hospital and said, "I'll do this, but you got to do something for me later, and you can't ask me. You just got to do it when I tell you to do it," because that's how the devil works, right? And it's like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And if we all walked around, we'd be an eyeless, toothless world. I think Deepak Chopra said that. One of those gurus said that. I mean, it's true. We can't. We need to shift our mindset. Okay, not and that's where the enlightenment part is coming up. So knowledge is the key, and I am love to share knowledge, and I'm going to start making more videos. You guys are going to I'm going to have a whole collection here, but for right now I'm going to share other information that I found out here, and I found a really awesome book. We're going to talk about the 3D reality versus the 5D reality, and then you got the 4D reality in there. But this is going to help you guys, because if you understand, you've been hearing this, if you've been listening to other readers, but you're not exactly understanding what all this is. So there is a book out here I want to share with you. It's called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. Go ahead and check below in the box. I always leave the links to any resources down there. But go ahead and check it out. This book, it's a PDF, and it's only 31 pages, and this will really help you understand. We understand we live in a 3D conscious world. What is a 3D reality? It's the materialistic ego reality that is stressful, it's competitive, it's fearful. This is where war is waged because it's all about an I attitude. What is good for me? And you live day-to-day life without any spiritual awareness. So this leaves you feeling burned out and disconnected to your purpose because your higher self lives in the 5D, right? So just follow along with me. I promise this is all going to make sense. So what is the fifth dimension? We know what the 3D dimension is. That's Earth. That's everything you're currently seeing, all those problems you're stressing out. The fifth dimension is actually where Buddha, Jesus, the ascended masters live, the higher beings, and also your higher self lives in the fifth dimension, and your twin flame. Okay, so the fifth dimension is pure love, pure light, unconditional forgiveness, unconditional acceptance, instant manifestation, unlimited possibilities, beyond time and space, the God vibration, expansion, healing, ascension, oneness, interconnectedness. Those are just a few things, and this book is by Albert, or excuse me, it is. There was Albert Einstein was something they were talking about in there. So Kimberly actually is Kimberly Meredith. Revolutionary wisdom from one of the world's most respected medical intuitive healers. So this will really help you get an idea of what the fifth dimension is. And it says Ascension involves calling people out on abuse, identifying abuse, correcting abuse, and letting go of abuse. If you are doing misdeeds, you're going to get caught. If you're doing good deeds, you will become known. If you have a gift, it will become known. This is all a part of the ascension process. The truth will be exposed, and it will be magical. That is so beautiful, and that's on page 8. Beautiful souls of that book. It's a PDF. Please check in the bottom. I'm going to put this in there. It's definitely going to help you, because you got to understand it's not, just these buzzwords that you're hearing. What is 5D? You got to know actually where your manifestations aren't going to work if you don't know the process of it. When I was trying to learn how to be a medium, I didn't understand where the angels and everything were, because everybody's like, it's in your third eye. And that's just so rhetorical when you're a beginner and you're trying to learn 1013. Because you're like, what's my third eye? And what do you mean I'm seeing it in my head? And by the way, I'm a daydreamer. I'm a Pisces. Daydreaming is like my number one thing. So if somebody would have just told me that looking into your third eye is like when you daydream, I would have understood that's how I do it. But see, I was on this very huge narcissistic karmic lesson of learning how to fend for myself and actually have a lot of more self-reliance than I usually do. That is why I come out here. If I learn information, I try to share it with you, and I don't try to be full of myself. I just have this knowing because I'm so connected to my guides. And if I share it to you, I try my hardest to not ever share miscommunication. And if I do, if there's misinformation, which can happen, but very rarely, because I'm very big on spreading the truth. So when you listen to this stuff that I'm actually telling you something that may not make sense to you in the moment I'm telling it to you, but I promise there's enough evidence out there of what I'm speaking about. Let me know if this is resonating with you, beautiful souls. If you're on the beginning of your journey, or you're maybe even in the middle, you're never too old or too far along to learn. So it's the more you learn, the better you become at it. So I wasn't very good at this when I first started. I had no idea the spiritual world. I'd cut that off. I didn't meditate or do self-love stuff, self-care. So I'm just telling you, I haven't always been this way. It's taken a lot of dedication and practice. And literally the last 5 to 6 years of my life has been dedicated to doing better. 1202 as I say that. So know that there's not a time. Again, time is a human concept. That will free up your ego when you start telling yourself that time is a human concept. You're not in a rush. You have all the time in the world, but you can't, you've got to make use of your time and have gratitude for it. Because if you just try to put it on the back burner, you'll wake up one day and 5 years will go by and you're like, wow, how did that happen? So I want to share with you, what does a fifth dimensional being look like? 5D embodies and harnesses the frequency of pure love. Many spiritual masters such as Jesus Christ and Buddha are examples of individuals who embody this frequency of beyond. So I'm going to go into a little, so you're in the 3D. That's why you're having a spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is part of the ascension process, right? Because you're trying to get to that 5D level of consciousness. This is where that's not where the guidance is really coming from. It's coming from the 4D. But the 5D, like if you're connecting to the 5D, that's where if you're connecting to your higher self, or, really, really high up there, like, Buddha and Jesus, those are the ascended masters, live in that realm. So the 5D is about connecting to unity consciousness. This is a chance for you to level up and upgrade. And ultimately, you're seeing such an influx of spiritual workers and light workers and chosen ones right now, because they're ultimately trying to erase this 3D, 2D world and get us up to the 5D. So that is going to get us up into a unity consciousness instead of this me consciousness. So in the 5D, your heavy thoughts and your energy shed. Okay, you do not fear any of your shadows, and you embrace the darkness, because this is where your highest self lives. 5D communication mostly happens on the psychic plane, and you live in synchronicity. So if you've been on this spiritual awakening for a while, you probably do live in 5D consciousness, but it's frustrating because you go from that and then you're constantly shifting back and forth. The 4D is like it's like a buffer zone, okay? But we're living in this 3D world, and we're meditating and we're connecting with our guides in the 5D and the 4D. So that's why you're a little exhausting. That's why some days, like, you feel like a rock star, and other days, you can't take your seatbelt off when you're trying to get out of the car. Or you try to get out of the car with your seatbelt on. I've done that. So you need to make sure you're drinking enough fluids, because the angels work through vibrations. It's just like kind of like if you skip a rock on the pond, you got to have water. They're fluids. That's how you're hearing your impressions. Okay, that's your angelic inner impressions, and also getting these upgrades. You're getting energy updates every time you go to the 4D. So you need to start being open to expansion in the process of learning through the experience. So try not to hold so much resentment for being on the 3D world. More when you go up to the 5D and you experience that bliss, learn how to bring it down, because ultimately we're trying to close this out. So that might help you right there. Somebody may need to hear that right here, because they're frustrated. They're tired of living in this HE double hockey sticks of a 3D world, and then they go visit the 5D, and that's why most people stay in meditation forever, right? But ultimately, this is the future, is we're trying to eradicate that 3D, that hate, that ego-centered world, and we're bringing it to the 5D consciousness, and that's why we're having such an influx of light workers. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because this is my favorite thing to talk about, is spirit and miracles and new beginnings, because I don't like the hate on this world, but that's why you can't participate in it, because it will stop growing if you stop feeding it. Spirit is telling me. It's important for you to not compare and honor your uniqueness and your journey, because everyone's different in the spiritual world. You're a spiritual badass in the 5D, and you come down to the 3D and you come to lack and scarcity and feeling like you're not good enough. Stop doing that to yourself. Just start looking at it like you're in a video game, and you need to level up and you need to win. You need to go save the princess, just like in Super Mario Brothers. All right, so yeah, it's important to have this balance, but once you get this knowledge, it stops being so overwhelming. Because the Dave said, I'm really overwhelmed on my journey, I start reading, I start looking for knowledge, because that will help you. Any devil lives in confusion. So if you're feeling in confusion right now, that's because you're not working with your highest self. And if you're in scarcity and fear and all that, definitely not your higher self. So what is the 4D? 4D is a buffer place where processing and inner work and manifestation take place, right? And so you go to the 4D when you're getting light code upgrades, when you're doing angelic attunements, Reiki attunements. You tap into your higher chakras, such as your heart, throat, and third eye and crown chakra, and this is where you receive the clearest guidance, and you accept your experience and your mistakes, and you feel like it's all part of the process. So that's why 1818, as I say that, I feel like we're kind of trying to bring the 4D and 5D consciousness, but literally just eradicate this 3D consciousness, because that's why you're feeling so like, why has this been taught? Well, that's why it's being untaught. If you've noticed, we're really going through the spiritual awakening to unteach all this programming that was not good for us. So what are 4D tools that you can use to help keep you sane in this 3D world, and not make you resentful of not being in that 5D world yet? Because it's coming, but we gotta have patience. We gotta exert patience and just keep on our mission. So some 4D tools are meditation, yoga, going out in nature, just getting lost, swimming in the ocean, dancing. Staying in this present moment is really, really important. And it's important to pay attention to the energy of people, places, and things that you find yourself around. When saying yes, ask yourself if that yes is truly coming from a place of excitement and alignment, or something else. And it's important to take some deep breaths when you're using these 4D tools, and they'll help navigate you through the harder moments. But you got to kind of integrate all of these together. So, and I'm going to put this other article, masteryourmagic.com, and this is all about living in a 3D world versus a 5D world. You can never have enough information, and I think it's so funny how much information is out there from people that doesn't even get looked at or acknowledged because people are not popular. Isn't that the craziest thing? So next time when you look in popularity versus, wow, this person is caring and genuine and actually truly cares, because sometimes we're so caught up on if it's popular then it must be okay. I don't know, because I've seen popularity trains be okay, and then all of a sudden a year later, even a month later, they're falling apart. So it's all about intention and the energy. Energy doesn't lie. If somebody is showing you a bad energy, don't put it, oh, they're not a bad person and try to defend them more. Accept that energy and accept that that's just part of their karmic path, and try not to take it personal. But do get yourself away from energetic toxic people, because I was listening. I love to listen to all kinds of different people's points of views, and people say you don't have to, and no, you don't necessarily have to cut off a toxic relationship just because it's toxic. You can work on it, but the key is work on it, and it takes two people to be in a relationship, at least, unless you're in one with yourself. But if you are with, say, a partner who had a lot of traumatic child abuse and they're just not open, no matter what you say to them, you can't open them until their soul is ready to open. That is where you got to understand to cut those toxic ties, because unfortunately, if you don't, they're going to take you down with you. It's just like I'm seeing a vision of when somebody's drowning, you're supposed to come up from behind them and pull them on their backs, because if not, you'll get pulled down drowning with them. So it's important, oxygen mask first. Take care of yourself first today, and then you can, especially if you're a healer, you can pull in, you can go meditate and pull up that love and light from the 5D and bring it down here to the 3D, and know that all this chaos, and it's all just a test, because ultimately this isn't going to be lasting. And if you look at our existence of as we know it, it's really not that big, guys. Like society, we only have what, a couple thousand years of history with society, like with our actual what's happened in our history. It's not that very big, and you're like, wow, we really don't have that much behind our belt. So just think of that today. You got to think broader. You got to think broader than this 3D. This 3D world is like the test of, are you going to stay in the world of tragedies and repetitive mistakes, or are you going to stand in your higher self? Because people are coming to you to trigger you to stand in your power. Are you going to stand up in your power? That doesn't mean be mean and malicious and hurt people. Standing in your power means setting boundaries and standing up for yourself, or standing up for others, or standing up for a situation that you just know is not right, and knowing God's going to have your back, because that is where you are here. You are part of the truth tellers, and that's why you have to either choose to believe in God and the love, or choose to believe in the fear and the devil, because the devil's going to constantly put you in your feelings, and it's up to you to put your boundaries and say, no, I don't run with you, devil, so therefore I'm not going to listen to you and your trash and your fear. And if you are listening to something and you start hearing it be fear-based, I guide you to turn that off. Stop listening. We're so like, oh, I'm already in the middle of it, might as well finish it. No. If I start hearing fear-based anything, even if it's somebody who says they're a prophetic word speaker and then all of a sudden go into a fear-based message, I will turn that off, and then I will start praying and ask God to just eradicate everything I just heard from them, because now I don't have that trust aspect. Trust yourself first. It doesn't matter if people want to make names or make fun of you. It don't matter, because that's what the demons are supposed to do. They're not supposed to be on your side. They're supposed to trick you, and you're not supposed to fall for it. And that's where you are coming in here to incarnate, to strengthen, so you can be on a higher mission. I hope that helps someone out here. 24:55 as I say that. So I want to go ahead and share this message with you as we wrap this up. Thank you so much for all the love and light and subscribing and shares that you guys have given me over the years, not just on YouTube. I know you guys have supported me on other platforms too, because I've been around for a while, just not out and about as I should have been. But hey, here I am. So here's your message, beautiful souls. And I'm hearing this is specifically if you are a water element, if you are an air element, we got Virgo, Sagittarius, and I'm hearing Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and specifically in Aries and Libra. So I'm hearing to count your blessings. It's important to start expressing your joy and to start loving yourself more. The more that you love yourself, the more you don't hold all this negative energy. And when you release negative energy, guess what? You release weight. So that is why if you're struggling with weight, I'm hearing especially go into your mental shadow side of it. Okay, because the more guilt and trauma that you release, you will actually release that out of your body, because diets don't work. I'm hearing diets don't work. It's about living a lifestyle and actually loving yourself and going through the process. So if you are struggling with maybe overeating or emotional eating, because I've done that, my highest was at 215, and I was pregnant, by the way. And you know how many people told me I needed to go work out, and I was like, are you serious? I'm 7 months pregnant on a high risk pregnancy, and people were so concerned about how fat I got. And I was like, I didn't work out before. I've always had a hard time working out, but I definitely didn't work out before. And when I got pregnant, I got cankles. No, I wasn't going to work out then either, but it was really amazing to me how not nice I was treated during my pregnancy, especially by my own mom, who was the one who told me I should start working out. And I was like, that's when I started noticing these covert narcissist things, like, why would you say something to me like that? I've had some when I was 12. I got told that I needed to stop eating so many bagels because I was just going to be fat. So I've had things programmed into my mind, and this is why it makes sense. All the covert abuse that I've had, I've seen it my whole life, but I just thought that I was worthless. I really thought I was worthless and didn't matter, and so I believed it. And now I'm just sad because you know what? If you're under 18, it doesn't matter, because we're gonna get big, we're gonna get little. I've been all sizes. If you're struggling with weight, it don't matter, because you're beautiful and it's a skin suit. I'm telling you, we got to stop getting so caught up with on the outside, because if you look more on the inside, you would find a lot more fabulous people around today. I'm hearing you need to start engaging in a higher reason. What is your higher reason, beautiful soul? What are you out there engaging in? Are you engaging in the chaos and the drama and the negativity? Because guess what? If you're going through a spiritual awakening, demons love to push your buttons, and they like to push you out of character. And that's what I've been trying to. God came across with this message the other day of why do ever so often I'll get pushed out of character. And yes, I will have an argument with someone. I've even done it in the medical field, and that is because when you catch yourself doing that, and I know that's happened to other people, you just all of a sudden get in this irritation and you're just so in your ego and you're like, wow, why am I doing this? Before you get mad at yourself and beat yourself up and just have a horrible day after that, stop yourself and say, first of all, what demon, what entity is around me or attached to someone else that is coming over here that I irritated, because my light irritates the demons. And I swear to you, that's why I've just like had all of a sudden got out of character and just went into my ego and was just irrational. And I figured out the big thing is it wasn't me just breaking down being irrational. It was me literally being triggered, because I do remember that I was on this conversation for 40 minutes. And I remember about 30 minutes into it, I finally said, we're going to start arguing. And I always give the warning. If you're a Pisces, you always give the warning and nobody listens. And then Pisces get really irrational after that when you gave the warning. And then and then they turn it around and they gaslight you and blame you. But see, that's where Pisces have to get grounded and take your power back and just learn to not go with the flow and stand in your power and stop and say, I'm sorry, we're going to have to disconnect. That's what I should have done. But we don't do that as Pisces. We try to please people. That's where you get in the people pleasing. I know I'm hitting somebody's button today. Hit my button, please. I'm almost done wrapping this up. Thank you so much, beautiful souls. It gives me a lot of joy to share these messages because when I was around all my Pisces, and I know I'll start being around more people, but I know that these words can help bring that veil of uncertainty off of your mind, okay? Because so much crap has been put into your brain from the narcissist and the abuse. You don't trust yourself for a while, but that's why you're going on this spiritual awakening. Let it flow. Maybe your abuse was not, you can't trust because of your abuse, but now you're getting a second chance at life, but you have to give God a chance and know that there's a process to this and you are truly loved. But you need to keep your commitments to yourself and embrace your power and stop giving away your power to fear. Fear is closing off your throat chakra. Fear is creating illusions in your mind, and it's just making you not feel good. You can connect with that 5D consciousness. Doesn't matter who you are, but you need to quiet your mind, and you need to know that this is all an experience, not to be carried within us, but to be expressed. Life is more to be expressed than to be absorbed. And if you're going to absorb stuff, absorb good stuff. Start carrying around. I always focus on, I've had so many people come in and out of my life that I start focusing on what are the memories here and now. I love making memories. Because even if you're a terrible person, and you know who you are out there, if you're a terrible person, I still have good memories. So when you leave my life and you try to hurt my feelings, guess what I think of? I don't think about the hurt and the pain, 3222 as I say this. I actually think of all the good memories because that's what's going to pop up in my mind. And then it's going to make me a little sad. Like, man, I wish they could have just gotten over their ego and disconnected from that and their toxicity so we can move on, but maybe in the next life. But I still had a good time when they were pretending to be my friends. So thank you, karmics. I had a good time. Y'all had a good time. I saw it on your face because you can't. I look back and I think about all these people that were future faking with me. Maybe you didn't love me, but I can personally tell you, you could bring any karmic in front of me and I could pull out a good memory that we had that you were genuinely happy. Why don't you guys think of that? I'm going to put that out there for all of y'all. Think about that, karmics, of that good memory that you genuinely were like, wow, I feel like a bad person for continuously screwing over this person. Wow. That's where the narcissists don't think about that 3333. As I say that, they try to bypass that. But I'm going to bring that out, narcissist. I gave, you didn't take. I gave, and you enjoyed the time that you had with me. And you obviously still enjoy it if you're still coming after my energy. Because I know I'm definitely not even thinking about any of y'all that are karmic to me. I have totally transitioned out of that realm, and I pray that y'all transition out of that realm to the 4D and the 5D, because I'm definitely not meeting up with you in the next 3D beautiful karmics out there. Nope. I'm going on a whole nother path. So y'all have fun down here, but you'll still have a chance. Karmics still have a chance. I hope that brought a little smile to your face if you're dealing with a karmic, because you know what? Be patient. God's got you. Refine your attention. Stop giving these little demons attention, because that's all they want is attention. And they're literally just getting attention so they can screw you over again. Pardon my French, but You need to start planting the seeds of wonder, and know that the second coming that's coming for you, if you're going through a spiritual awakening and you're chosen right now, this is going to be a very highly productive and entrepreneurial time. You're going to be creating multiple streams of income, I'm hearing, and you're going to be releasing all those negative thoughts that have swarmed your head so much. So it's time to walk away from what no longer serves you. I'm hearing walk into the sunset and leave the karmics of the past, but don't put your energy there of even thinking about them. So it's important, you got to forgive yourself. Don't worry about forgiving them. Forgive yourself, forgive the situation. And you know what? That's usually good enough, and then you'll get to that level. But don't accept anything today that is not for your highest good. It's just a trick. Remember that you are being presented with the keys to the kingdom. Your manifestations are coming into fruition, and all these karmic lessons are bringing divine blessings. Keep pushing, beautiful souls. Soon you'll understand the reason why God and your angels love you and are answering prayers in divine timing. Be patient. Your upgrade is in process. Let me know how you enjoyed this show today. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I would love to hear your feedback or hear anything that you would like me to create a video about to teach you about. Love and light, beautiful souls. God loves you. I love you. Your angels love you. And definitely know everything's going to be okay. Have a wonderful day.